Woo! Larry's telling me to bring the slides in. So here we go. We're about to head off to Thousand Trails, Lake Conroe, and we're excited. So, we're in spot. Now we just need to level it. You check to see, okay, when you get in, you check to see if it's level both ways, right to left, and this is, we don't have to do anything. Sometimes you have to raise up one side, and then this way. And as you can see, our front needs to come up a lot. So, let's go do that. You're grabbing a couple of these. Here, I'm gonna put them right under these front legs. Disconnecting the truck, disconnecting the hitch. Okay, we've got our chocks down in front of these tires. Larry's putting some on the other side. And now I'm going to start to lower these legs here to raise up the front while he's watching the level in the door. Is it good?
Perfect.
Okay. What are you doing?
I'm going to use our bucket to catch any excess, and then I'm going to hook up the sewer.
So you don't want to see this part. It's gross. All right, so one of the last things to do is the slides. Here we go. Now the kitchen's gonna go. And the living room over there. And the last to go will be this side. Uh-oh. And every time we arrive somewhere, stuff is kind of thrown everywhere. Although this is the worst I've ever seen. All right, first order of business. Oh, everything came down. So, just happens sometimes. Get the air back on. Now it says 55, but it won't be 55. It'll cool down to here to about 85, sometimes 90, because we are in the Texas heat. And as you can see now, I'm thoroughly drenched, sweaty. It is really hot outside, about 90 something. So it'll cool down in here and we'll start the process of putting our house back together. And it'll be so hot for a while. I'll end up taking the kids swimming for a little bit, but that's it. First night last night. We actually had a traumatic experience.
That'll be up on my channel.
It will be on ours too, thank you.
On my channel.
We'll talk about that. We actually had to call the police, so we will get to that. But besides that traumatic experience, tell me what your thoughts are on the first day, really, of Lake Conroe.
I was a little disappointed because all the reviews said this park is amazing and it's nice for people who like parking lot type RV parks, but we like the woods-y areas where you're kind of by yourself and not with anybody next to you, and it's shaded, so our AC unit seems like it actually works. But other than that, it's really nice. It's my first day out of the RV, so I like it. The pool's real nice, but I liked the other area way better.
Yeah.
For sure.
This actually kind of reminds me of Florida, like just this.
It does. It doesn't feel like we're anywhere new.
Yeah, this cool area. So maybe for somebody who's not
Who's
from
like,
Florida or not from this kind of living with pools and lawn chairs and all that, this would be really different,
This
really
would be
cool.
fun, yeah.
But for us, it's kind of what we come from.
So it's not like anything like, oh my gosh. The place where we were was amazing. That felt like we were out farther.
But that was really different than
That was very different.
yeah, than anything we've experienced. So I think
Good
we were
point.
kind of craving that.
Yeah. So this is fun for people who don't live in Florida.
Okay, so we're here at the lake.
She's pretty. A little poop brown, but pretty nonetheless.
Are you impressed?
Yeah.
Did you want to go in?
No.
Why?
You said it was, and I quote, slimy. I don't do slime.
You don't do slime?
I don't do that.
So
No.
did you get it in at all?
No.
Hmm.
And that.
You don't actually know if it's slimy or not, do you?
I'm gonna make
You're
you
just
drink
taking somebody's word for it, but you didn't actually test
Well,
that theory.
okay,
on
you
yourself.
went in.
I did.
What'd you think?
It wasn't slimy.
Eyes open.
What are you doing there?
Attempting to unscrew something, but I can't see it because I am just like 3 feet too short.
Don't I have a step ladder somewhere?
I don't believe we've had the step ladder. Oh no, I thought that was for dropping my head.
That one right there. Good.
One more.
Okay, so
One more.
every single window in here has these valances, and we were gonna cover them, but the more we thought about it, we thought maybe we should just try and take at least this one down and see how we like it. And I think we like it more without the balances. I would never put balances up.
Hand is cramping.
Figure it out.
Just bean bags. I mean, that's a possibility. They're much lower profile. Please don't make me live like this.
So we were sitting out at the picnic table, we're eating. We brought our dogs out because if we leave them inside, especially while we're eating, they just cry and bark and, whatever. So we're sitting out there, we're just enjoying, the just after dinner conversation. And this happened, so I feel like I have half the story. I have no survival reflex whatsoever, but I was sitting here in the middle of a picnic table. Judah was sitting to my right. So Janiyah was actually on the ground untangling Lucy, our smallest dog, who had wrapped her leash around the table. And Larry was sitting across from me.
The picnic table.
On the picnic table.
Yeah.
So Larry's sitting across from me, and out of the corner of our eye, all I see is like a shadow. But then all of a sudden, this shadow is moving so fast towards us. And then Larry... Are you going to tell it, or you want me to tell it?
You should tell it. You're a much better
So
storyteller.
Larry died. I don't know how this happened. Anyway, back to the story. This shadow, which turns out to be a loose pit bull, charges both of our dogs who are under our table. Samson's back was actually to the dog. Janiyah is holding Lucy, and Samson is looking at Janiyah. And this pit bull charges at both of them. Janiyah rocks back and throws her leg out, pulling Lucy to her. By the time that happened, the pit bull has Samson in a death grip. And you just hear Samson, oh! Larry, in 1 second, is from
No. I'm like Superman. Super
Yeah,
Mexican.
Dad, before you saw the dog,
That's
you
what
were
I'm saying.
frozen. He says, watch out, and shoves me out
That's
of the
what
way.
that's what I'm saying. It was less than a second. I don't know how all of that information I'm telling you took me how long to tell it. Larry processes this, jumps across, and is now on top of the pit bull, who is on top of Samson.
Shaking Sam.
And he is shaking Sam like this.
What you do is you pinch their cheeks into their canines. So you squeeze the roof of their mouth, into their canines, and they will open their jaws.
So that's all he can do. He's on top of this pit bull who's on top of Samson.
He's shaking Sam.
And he's shaking Sam, and he's just pushing. I don't know what he's doing. He's screaming at the dog, and Jania's screaming and crying, and Judah's got his hands over his eyes saying, I can't see this. I can't see this. And it was happening so fast.
Split second.
So suddenly the dog's mouth opens, which if you know anything about pits, that's honestly
Impossible.
miraculous and yeah, impossible. And so Larry he's saying, take the dog, take Samson. I literally,
I'm
the dog's
holding the jaw.
The dog's
The
jaws are
yeah.
open like this, and I pull Samson. I thought Samson, quite honestly, I thought he was going to be dead. I thought he was
Split
going to
open.
be
Yeah.
dead. And then I thought there's just going to be blood everywhere. So this is what I'm thinking. I don't even want to look. I finally pick him up. I don't feel anything, but Larry's like, get the dogs inside. So the kids and the dogs are going inside. And all of a sudden, Larry's on top of this pit bull with all you're not a small guy.
I'm not a small kid.
With all of his weight holding this pit bull down, and Larry's like, get help. So I start calling, trying to find
a ranger, forest
a ranger, trying to, I don't even know. I thought I'd call the police, except I don't know where I am. I don't have an address. I can't think, so I find the ranger number, call them, and Larry starts calling out in the park going, I need help. And so suddenly our neighbors rush over. 2 men have to subdue this dog on top of the ranger ends up saying, telling me when I get hold of him, he's like, we're sending the police, don't give this dog back. If it's if somebody's dog there in the park, don't give the dog back. Well, it's got to go in, quarantine. And so anyway, lo and behold, we go inside, we do a full check on Samson. He's fine. He was totally fine. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how it's possible.
He was missing some hair.
Yeah, the dog ripped out a chunk of hair. He had, it was a she. She had broken this flea collar that we had just gotten for Sam.
Like the day before.
The day before. I think this flea collar saved Sam's life
Probably
as
saved
well.
his life too,
So
yeah.
when we got the collar came off, so did a huge clump of hair.
Yeah.
Ended up getting, checking Sam out, doing all that we need to do. When Larry finally is able to get off the dog, they put a huge leash around him, strapped him to the table, and now we've had to call the police, or the ranger called the police. Now we have to wait for the police to come get this dog. We're seeing that this dog is a pit bull with clipped ears, looked like she had just had maybe a litter of puppies recently, looked like it had been clipped to fight, some scarring on the dogs. Like, this dog was trained to go after dogs, but also starving. And what one of the guys from the park said is, if this dog had been not in such bad shape, there's no way Larry could have ever subdued this dog. Just huge.
Wait a second. I'm
That
pretty
is what the person said.
You don't have to add that to this video. Edit.
So anyway, police comes. That's when I say to Larry, how are you? We've been crying now on and off. It was so traumatic.
Sobbing, screaming, crying.
It was
anxiety.
It was anxiety. It was terrifying. Yeah. It was totally terrifying. But at that
funny.
point, it's probably an hour after the event, where I've been in and out trying to, check on our dogs, check on this dog. Then we're giving this dog water and food. It's a whole ordeal. But then I check on Larry. Larry had dislocated one of his thumbs. It was like hanging. It's back.
It's better.
And
still jammed. But
the other one was jammed. They were so swollen that the one thumb, when you showed it to me, it was like hanging off, and it was so swollen. So I went and had him ice it for a couple hours, and then we iced it for the next several days, and it's gotten better. It's still in a lot of pain, but that was our crazy experience. And so anyway, obviously this could happen anywhere, and I'm not trying to put this on a thing.
Welcome to Conroe.
No, not trying to say this is about Lake Conroe or Thousand Trails. I know many of you are going to ask, how is Samson? And this is an even crazier part of the story. But as we were driving into Lake Conroe, Larry tells me, he said, guess what? I found a vet near where we're going to be staying at this Thousand Trails, and I made an appointment for Samson on Tuesday morning at 9:30, I think.
The earliest you can get there.
Right. And so I said, how'd you do that? And he said, well, his rabies are, you know, his shots and stuff are going to run out next week, so I needed to find a place since we won't get back to Florida in time. And so I found a close place, and it's got good reviews or whatever. So anyway, the next morning, Samson, you know, was, he seemed fine, but it was amazing that we had this vet appointment the very next morning, and the vet gave him an incredible, they were awesome people. They gave him an incredible,
super sweet, nice doctors that just totally loved him right away and cared to him right away, instantly.
They did. They loved on him. They ended up giving him some pain meds and said his neck is probably going to be, even though there was no necessarily puncture wounds.
No puncture wounds or trauma, signs of trauma.
But his neck would probably be sore. So we put him on pain meds for a couple days, and he slept. And they just said try and keep him completely rested where he's not jarring himself. He's fine.
Yeah.
We've tried to keep him away from any other dogs just in case he's
a little hesitant.
Yeah, but
nervous.
We haven't noticed anything. He seems fine.
He went straight up to a dog even today. Went straight up to a big dog.
He's so friendly. We liked Lake Conroe. We thought it was interesting. We thought it was fun. It's more like a resort than a rustic place.
Yeah.
I think we're realizing we're more rustic, but you know, it was a neat place. And if you're looking for a nice little getaway, I think you'll enjoy it. It's so close to Houston. There's so much to do. All right. Well, we're packing up from Lake Conroe. Had a good stay, besides for that one incident. But we've had a great stay. I think it's a great park. If you're in the Houston area, check out Thousand Trails at Lake Conroe. I think you're going to love it, especially if you're looking for more of that resort style. Great pool, great family lake, picnic tables, great activity center. We loved it.
Spa.
Oh yeah,
Huge spa.
We didn't get that. I mean, we went there, but we're not filming that. You don't need to see that. Until next time.
Playrooms, a huge cafe as well. It's open every morning at 9, from 9 to 4.
I don't know.
And they have great, great food. Not that I would know. I don't know that. I didn't know. No, I don't know that. They say, rumor has it in the hood that they have great food.
See you later.
As for Denise.